Excuse me, sir. This entrance is for court personnel only. Public entries around back.
I work here.
Sure. What do you do? Maintenance? Cleaning crew?
No, I'm one of the judges.
Right, and I'm the governor. ID, now.
I don't have to show you.
You do if you want to walk through my door, or I'm calling backup for trespassing.
Officer Daniels had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 72 hours, he would lose his badge, he would lose his pension, and he would become the reason an entire courthouse lost $30 million in state funding. The maintenance worker he just threatened, a sitting circuit court judge, Judge Marcus Reeves, had sentenced over 2,000 cases in that very building. He wasn't just any judge. He was a 15-year veteran of the bench. He was a former federal prosecutor, and he was the presiding judge who controlled courtroom assignments for every officer in that county. Judge Reeves had walked through those courthouse doors every morning for a decade. And the entire thing was being recorded. 3 security cameras captured everything. Those cameras reported directly to the Judicial Oversight Committee, the same committee Judge Reeves himself ran. Before I continue, let me ask you something. Have you ever been judged unfairly because of how you looked? Drop your answer in the comments below. Officer Daniels had no idea who he was blocking from his own courthouse. Judge Marcus Anthony Reeves was 52 years old. He was a circuit court judge in the 4th Judicial District. He was the presiding judge over the criminal division. He had been on the bench for 15 years. The governor appointed him in 2011. Before that, he spent 8 years as an assistant U.S. attorney. Before that, he was a public defender for 3 years. He graduated from Harvard Law School. He graduated magna cum laude. Over his career, Judge Reeves had presided over 2,000 cases. He had overseen 400 jury trials. Lawyers knew his reputation. He was fair. He was thorough. He took no nonsense from anyone. But here's what Officer Daniels didn't know. Judge Reeves wasn't just any judge. He was the chair of the Judicial Oversight Committee. That committee reviewed all courthouse security. It reviewed all law enforcement conduct inside the courthouse. He was also the liaison between the judiciary and local police departments. He taught constitutional law seminars to law enforcement officers. He had served as an expert witness in multiple racial profiling cases. Judge Reeves was known for arriving early. He showed up at 6:45 a.m. every day. He often wore casual clothes before putting on his robes. He used the private judicial entrance. Veteran courthouse staff knew him well. On this Tuesday morning in March 2025, Judge Reeves was just trying to get to his chambers. Officer Ryan Daniels had a reputation, and it wasn't the good kind. Ryan Daniels was 31 years old. He had worked for the County Courthouse Security Division for 6 years. Before that, he worked mall security. Before that, he did private retail loss prevention. He got hired during an emergency staffing expansion in 2019. The county needed security officers fast. They loosened their standards to fill positions quickly. Internal Affairs had 11 complaints against him. Those complaints came in over just 4 years. 10 of those complaints involved Black or Latino court visitors. Every single one cited aggressive behavior. Every single one mentioned disrespect. Here are just 3 examples. In 2022, he detained a Black attorney for 20 minutes. He demanded to see her bar card. She was wearing her courthouse ID badge. It was clearly visible. She filed a complaint. Daniels received a verbal warning. That was it. In 2023, he refused entry to a Latino court interpreter. The interpreter had valid credentials. Daniels told him he didn't look professional enough. The interpreter filed a complaint. The union got involved. The complaint was dismissed. In 2024, he followed a Black court clerk to the bathroom. He questioned whether the clerk really worked there. The clerk filed a hostile workplace complaint. Daniels got transferred to a different entrance for 2 weeks. Then they brought him back. Black courthouse employees had a nickname for him. They called him Badge Nazi. Several employees started using different entrances just to avoid him. White colleagues knew he was intense, but they defended him. They said he was just doing his job. Type justice in the comments if you think 11 complaints should have been a red flag. On March 18, 2025, Ryan Daniels didn't just stop the wrong person. He stopped the one person with the power to finally do something about it. It was Tuesday, March 18, 2025. The time was 6:47 a.m. The location was Wilson County Courthouse in downtown Springfield. This was the East Wing entrance. It was for judicial staff and court employees only. This was a quiet entrance. Trees lined the side of the building. This entrance was usually unmanned this early in the morning. Judges and clerks used their keycards to get in. The morning was cold. It was 42 degrees. Light rain was falling. The parking lot was almost empty. Courthouse lights were just coming on. Security was doing a shift change. Officer Daniels was covering the entrance alone until 7:15 a.m. You could hear the rain tapping on the awning. You could hear footsteps echoing in the parking garage. Two court clerks were entering through a different door. A maintenance worker named Carlos Mendez was mopping the lobby floor 15 feet away. He was 28 years old. 3 security cameras covered this area. One pointed at the entrance, one pointed at the lobby, one pointed at the parking approach. At 6:47 a.m. exactly, Judge Reeves walked up to the door. The timestamp on the security footage confirmed it. He was wearing jeans. He had on a gray Georgetown law hoodie. He wore a baseball cap and glasses. He carried a leather messenger bag and a coffee thermos. No robes, no briefcase, nothing that said judge. He was walking with purpose and checking his phone. He reached for the door handle. That's when Officer Daniels stepped forward. He blocked the door from inside. If stories like this matter to you, hit that subscribe button right now. Daniels tapped on the glass. He pointed toward the main public entrance around the building. Judge Reeves pulled the door open anyway. It wasn't locked yet. This entrance is for court personnel only. Public entry is around back. I work here, Reeves said. His voice was calm. He wasn't being defensive. Sure. What do you do? Maintenance, cleaning crew. Daniels glanced at Carlos mopping nearby. Then he looked back at Reeves. No, I'm one of the judges. Reeves paused. He watched Daniels' reaction. Daniels laughed. Right, and I'm the governor. ID, now. Daniels stepped closer. His hand rested on his belt near his handcuffs. I don't have to show you ID. I've worked here for 15 years. You do if you want to walk through my door. Everyone shows ID. That's the rule. Not for judges using the judicial entrance. Check your manual, Reeves said. Sir, I don't know what you think you are, but you're not dressed like any judge I've ever seen. I haven't changed into my robes yet. My chambers are upstairs. Yeah, which chambers? What's the room number? Daniels crossed his arms. 3rd floor, east side. Room 3E7. You can call up and verify. I'm not calling anyone. You either show me ID right now, or I'm detaining you, trespassing and impersonating a court official. Reeves slowly pulled out his wallet. He showed his driver's license. He showed his courthouse ID badge. It had his photo on it. It said Honorable Marcus Reeves, Circuit Court Judge. Daniels barely looked at it. Could be fake. This doesn't look like you. When was this photo taken? 2 years ago. It's valid. Look at the hologram seal. Turn around. Hands on the wall. I need to search your bag. You're not searching anything. I'm a sitting judge. You have zero authority. I have all the authority. This is a secure facility. You could be anyone. You could have a weapon. Hands, ONTHE, wall. Reeves didn't move. Officer, what's your name and badge number? Carlos stopped mopping. He pulled out his phone. He started recording. A clerk looking through the window shouted, Ryan, that's Judge Reeves. What are you doing? Mind your business, Karen, Daniels yelled back. The second clerk ran toward the administrative office. Daniels reached for Reeves' arm. Reeves stepped back. Do not touch me. You're refusing a lawful order. I'm calling backup. Call whoever you want, but when they get here, you better have a good explanation. Daniels grabbed his radio. This is Daniels' East entrance. Need backup for hostile individual refusing to comply. Possible trespasser. possibly armed. Wait until you hear what the backup officers said when they arrived. It was 6:52 a.m., 5 minutes into the confrontation. Two backup officers arrived. Their names were Officer Mitchell and Officer Torres. "Ryan, what's going on?" Mitchell asked. Subject refused to show ID. Claims he's a judge but doesn't match credentials. Refused search. Torres went pale. He stared at Reeves. Ryan, that is Judge Reeves. I testified in his court last month." "Your Honor, I am so sorry," Torres started to say. Reeves held up his hand. "Officer Torres, I appreciate you recognizing me. Officer Daniels here seems to think I'm impersonating myself." Mitchell turned to Daniels. His voice was quiet. "Dude, what did you do?" Daniels got defensive. "How was I supposed to know? He's dressed like he's going to the gym." "Officer Daniels, I've been using this entrance since 2011. I've taught constitutional law seminars to your department. I chair the committee that reviews incidents like this." Carlos stepped forward. "I got the whole thing on video. He didn't just ask for ID. He threatened to search him. He tried to grab his arm. Judge Reeves showed his badge. This guy said it was fake." Corinne Portman ran over. She was a court clerk. She had worked there for 19 years. "I've worked under Judge Reeves for a decade. I saw Officer Daniels through the window and ran to get help. This isn't the first time Ryan's done this. He stopped Judge Patterson's law clerk last year too." Officer Torres spoke up. "Your Honor, for the record, I heard Daniels call this a 1077 on the radio. That's a trespassing code. He called in a trespassing report on a judge at the judge's own courthouse. 3 security cameras had captured everything. The footage had 3 different angles. The audio was clear. The timestamps were verified. Carlos had recorded 2 minutes and 47 seconds on his phone. It was close-up. It was HD quality. The radio dispatch had recorded Daniels' backup request. He had said possibly armed. That was on tape. Courthouse access logs showed something important. Judge Reeves' keycard had been used 847 times in the past year, all at the east entrance. An email was sent automatically. It went to the IT director, Rebecca Chen. It flagged an unusual security incident involving the judiciary. At 6:58 a.m., Officer Mitchell called the courthouse security director. His name was Lawrence Hammond. At 7:04 a.m., Director Hammond arrived at the scene. At 7:06 a.m., the court administrator arrived. Her name was Diane Foster. A clerk had called her. At 7:11 a.m., the chief judge arrived. Her name was Judge Angela Morrison. She was Judge Reeves' colleague. Director Hammond looked at Daniels. "Officer Daniels, you're suspended effective immediately. Badge and weapon, now." "What? I was doing my job. How was I supposed to?" Chief Judge Morrison cut him off. "You accused a 15-year member of this court of being an armed imposter. You called backup on a man who's sentenced defendants in this building for longer than you've been an adult. You didn't recognize someone whose portrait hangs in the second-floor corridor." Daniels stammered. There are a lot of judges. I don't have them all memorized. He wasn't dressed." Reeves cut him off. "Officer Daniels, let me be very clear. This isn't about you not recognizing me. This is about you seeing a black man in casual clothes. You immediately assumed I was lying. Officer Torres recognized me immediately. The clerks recognized me. Carlos recognized me. But you saw what you expected to see. Let me know in the comments what you think should happen to Officer Daniels." By 7:15 a.m., Officer Daniels was escorted out of the courthouse. By 7:30 a.m., Judge Reeves was in his chambers. He was drafting an official complaint. But the real consequences were just beginning. Someone had already uploaded Carlos's video. At 8:00 a.m., the county sheriff arrived. His name was Marcus Bowden. He was Daniels' ultimate boss for courthouse security. At 9:30 a.m., investigators from the State Judicial Conduct Board showed up. There were 2 of them. At 10:00 a.m., the county human resources director arrived with legal counsel. They reviewed all the security footage, all 3 angles. They watched the full 18-minute encounter. It started from when Reeves entered the parking lot. It ended when Daniels was removed. They watched Carlos's phone video. Carlos sent it to the investigators. They pulled the radio dispatch logs. The possibly armed claim was highlighted. It was marked as a false report. They printed the access logs. Judge Reeves had entered through the east entrance 847 times in 12 months. They took witness statements. Carlos gave a statement. Both clerks gave statements. Officers Torres and Mitchell gave statements. Director Hammond gave a statement. They pulled Daniels' personnel file. It showed 11 previous complaints. It documented a racial pattern. Now here's where Daniels' story fell apart. He claimed he didn't recognize Judge Reeves because the judge wasn't wearing robes. But the court security manual said something different. Page 14 stated that judges could use judicial entrances in casual clothes. This applied to before and after court hours. ID verification was optional at the officer's discretion. Officers Torres and Mitchell confirmed that judges routinely arrived in street clothes. Daniels claimed the ID looked fake and didn't match Reeves' face. But security footage showed the truth. Daniels looked at the ID for less than 3 seconds. He didn't check the hologram. He didn't check the expiration date. There was an ID verification scanner 6 feet away. He never used it. Torres and Mitchell examined the same ID later. They immediately confirmed it was valid. Daniels claimed he had reasonable suspicion that Reeves could be armed and dangerous. But the radio transcript told a different story. Daniels said possibly armed after Reeves showed his judicial credentials. Reeves was only carrying a coffee thermos and a leather bag. He made no threatening movements. Sheriff Bowden made a statement. He said there was zero probable cause for a weapons search. He said this was retaliation for not complying. Here's what happened next. On March 18 at 7:15 a.m., Daniels was suspended without pay. This was immediate while they investigated. 48 hours later, on March 20, he was fired. The reason was termination for cause. The violations included racial profiling, filing a false report, abuse of authority, insubordination, and creating a hostile environment. He had ignored the clerk's warnings. Daniels was also banned from all county court facilities. The sheriff's office sent a criminal referral to the district attorney. The charge was filing a false police report. If you think this channel exposes important stories, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Sheriff Bowden made a public statement. He said Officer Daniels' conduct fell so far below their standards that keeping him employed was impossible. He said Daniels' actions endangered public trust in courthouse security and judicial independence. But losing his job was just the beginning. At 8:47 a.m. on March 18, Carlos uploaded the video to TikTok. His caption said, "Racist courthouse cop doesn't recognize black judge at his own courthouse. Justice served." By 9:30 a.m., the video had 12,000 views. It had been shared 900 times. At 10:45 a.m., a local attorney shared it on Twitter. The post said, "This is Judge Marcus Reeves, Harvard Law, 15 years on the bench, and a courthouse security officer just accused him of impersonation at his own courthouse." By noon, the video had 340,000 views across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. By 2:00 p.m., local TV stations picked up the story. They interviewed courthouse employees. At 6:00 p.m., it was the lead story on 3 local news stations. By midnight, the video had 2.3 million views on TikTok alone. It was trending number 3 nationally on Twitter. Within a week, here were the numbers. TikTok, 4.7 million views, 890,000 likes, 67,000 shares, 34,000 comments. Twitter, 3.2 million impressions, 120,000 retweets, 450,000 likes. Instagram, 1.8 million views on repost accounts. Reddit, it hit the front page of 3 subreddits. The combined upvotes were 2.1 million. YouTube, news clips and commentary videos, got 8.3 million combined views in 72 hours. Here's what people were saying in the comments. Imagine being so racist you don't recognize the judge whose photo is literally on the courthouse wall. This is what black professionals deal with every day. Doesn't matter if you're a doctor, lawyer, or literal judge. You're guilty until proven innocent. Officer, show me ID. Judge, shows credentials. Officer, looks fake. Sir, that's your courthouse ID system. The fact that he called backup and said possibly armed about a man holding coffee should be a crime. CNN covered it. MSNBC covered it. NPR covered it. Legal outlets like Above the Law and Law 360 analyzed the case. The county sheriff's office released a statement on March 19. They said they were conducting a full review. They confirmed Daniels had been fired. Comment below what you would have done if you were Judge Reeves in that moment. 3 days later, on March 21, Officer Daniels made everything worse. He went on a local radio show and doubled down. On March 25, 2025, Judge Reeves filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. He sued Officer Ryan Daniels individually. He sued the county sheriff's office for failure to supervise. He sued the county government for inadequate training and a pattern of discrimination. The legal claims included racial discrimination. They included violation of the Fourth Amendment for unlawful detention. They included violation of the 14th Amendment for equal protection. They included defamation for the false armed claim. They included intentional infliction of emotional distress. The amount he asked for was $30 million. That included $5 million in direct damages. That included $25 million in punitive damages. During the discovery process, they found damaging evidence. Daniels had a clear pattern. There were 11 complaints. 10 involved people of color. Internal emails showed that supervisors had ignored the red flags. They also found department-wide problems. An analysis of 2,400 courthouse security stops over 2 years showed something disturbing. Black visitors were stopped at 3.7 times the rate of white visitors. But black visitors only made up 18% of court traffic. The evidence was overwhelming. There were 47 video files. There were 89 pages of personnel records. There were 23 witness depositions. There were 340 pages of internal emails. Those emails showed supervisors had dismissed complaints repeatedly. 8 months later, in November 2025, the county settled. They wanted to avoid a trial. They wanted to avoid more bad publicity, so they agreed to pay $12 million. Here's how the money broke down. $4 million went directly to Judge Reeves. This covered direct damages and emotional distress. $3 million went to create a mandatory bias training program. All courthouse security would have to take it. The program would last 5 years. $2 million went to a community legal defense fund. This was Judge Reeves' specific request. $3 million went to attorney fees and costs. But that wasn't the only financial hit. The county also lost $18 million in state judicial funding. This happened because of federal discrimination findings. The total impact, $30.25 million. Niels was personally on the hook too. He had to pay $250,000 in punitive damages. They would collect it from his pension. He was banned from any government job in the state. This ban was permanent. He was banned from entering any courthouse in a 3-county area. The only exceptions were if he was a defendant or had a judge's approval. He had to complete 200 hours of community service. He would do it at an NAACP legal clinic. The state revoked his security license. He could not work as any type of officer anymore. He got fired from his next job at a construction site. The company found out about the lawsuit. His unemployment claims were denied. The reason was termination for cause. His career was effectively over. He was only 31 years old. The legal system also charged him with a crime. The charge was misdemeanor false reporting. This was for the possibly armed radio call. He pleaded no contest. He was sentenced to 1 year of probation and a $5,000 fine. There was also a permanent restraining order. He had to stay 500 feet away from Judge Reeves. The amount they had to pay, I told you I'd get to that, $30 million total. On November 12, 2025, there was a press conference. It happened on the county courthouse steps. That was the day the settlement was announced. Judge Reeves stood in a suit. He was surrounded by his attorneys. There were ACLU representatives there. Courthouse staff stood with him. He spoke to the cameras. For 8 months, I've replayed that morning. The assumption that I didn't belong, the dismissal of my credentials, the threat of physical force in a building where I've worked for 15 years. I'm a circuit court judge. I have resources. I have legal expertise. I have colleagues who supported me. But what keeps me up at night is this. What if I weren't a judge? What if I had been a janitor like Officer Daniels assumed? Would anyone have cared? Would there have been any accountability? As a former prosecutor, I know the law. I knew my rights that morning. I knew how to stay calm. I knew not to give Officer Daniels the confrontation he wanted. But most people don't have that training. Most people don't have a law degree. Most people don't have 15 years of courtroom authority. Most people can't stay calm when their dignity is being destroyed. If you work in any job where the public can abuse you, know this. You have rights. You have dignity. You don't have to accept racism disguised as someone just doing their job. To those who think respect must be earned, you're wrong. Respect is the starting point. Decency is the default. Dignity is not up for debate. Justice is not optional. And silence is not acceptable. This case exposed something bigger than one racist officer. Studies show that Black Americans are stopped by courthouse security 2.5 times more often than white Americans. There's no difference in actual threat levels. 41% of Black attorneys report being mistaken for defendants or visitors in courthouses where they work. 67% of Black judges report experiencing racial bias in professional settings. This includes bias from security staff. Only 8% of courthouse security discrimination complaints result in any discipline. 92% are dismissed or result in more training that doesn't work. Judge Reeves had power and resources. Most victims don't. So let me ask you something. Do we really believe that 11 complaints over 4 years isn't a pattern? Do we really think Officer Daniels just had bad luck? Do we really think accountability should only happen when the victim is a Harvard-educated judge? What about when they're the janitor Officer Daniels thought Judge Reeves was? Do we really accept a system where security means safety for some people and suspicion for others? Where your skin color decides whether you're welcomed or questioned? Because if we don't fix the system, if we don't address the bias, if we don't demand accountability before the 11th complaint, then we're just waiting. We're waiting for the next Officer Daniels. We're waiting for the next humiliated professional. We're waiting for the next $30 million settlement paid by taxpayers who had no say in protecting a racist officer. Comment below if you believe Officer Daniels' firing was justified, or if you think he was made a scapegoat. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding better. We're going to keep fighting for accountability, for dignity, for a justice system that actually serves everyone. This isn't just about one racist cop or one Black judge. It's about all of us and the system we're willing to accept. See you in the next one.